And I went there with just a dream and started talking to folks. And I had a badge, and all my badges said speaker, and at the bottom of it, it was purple. So all the speakers had purple badges. And the buyers, the media buyers, like your Hulus, your Amazons, Netflix, all those folks, they had blue badges. So I guess people had been hitting them up the entire time that they were there. So they decided to go ahead and cover up their badges and you can only see the blue. So I would literally stand at the bottom of the elevator and wait for someone to come around the corner that had a blue badge. And I would make small talk with them, get them to lower their defenses, jump on the elevator with them and pitch them. I literally did elevator pitches. I probably did 20 a day while I was at NAPI, and I was there for 3 days. And every time I pitched them, I would talk to them and they say, hey, so what do you do? And I say, well, I'm a writer. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a graduate student. And they say, oh, okay, what are you working on? And a lot of times they would be on their phone just looking at, what's going on until they got to their floor. And I said, oh, I'm working on a television pilot called Waking Up White. And I would stop talking.
You're listening to Creative Breakthrough, the podcast that provides you with the strategies to elevate your creative passion to the next level. I'm your host, creative hustler, and chicken wing lover, Shireen Kassam, aka the Funny Brown Girl. And yes, I have an unhealthy obsession with chicken wings. Now, get ready to flex your creative muscle and keep winning. Welcome back to another episode of The Creative Breakthrough. I am your host, Shireen Kassam, aka the Funny Brown Girl. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, welcome. And for those of you tuning in multiple times, thank you so much for continuing to come back week after week after week. We are having such a great 2020 over here. Last week, I was telling you guys about how I have not set my goals yet for 2020 because I was using the month of January to really just experiment with different creative endeavors and passions and projects to see where I wanted to invest my time. And I did two things over the last 2 weeks that really helped me step out of my comfort zone. If you don't know me, I am a creative. I am a stand-up comedian. I act. I also do this podcast. And I love the creative space. I love writing. I love reading. I love anything that allows me to express myself and share my voice. But over the last couple months, I've been starting to feel a little sluggish and a little stagnant, and I want to do something in 2020 to kind of help break that up. But I wasn't sure what it is. And if you also know me, while I am a creative and I do have to perform on stage and I enjoy public speaking, I get drained very easily being around people and having to talk to people. I'm kind of an introvert where I have this battery and it drains very quickly and then I don't want to do anything. So lately, stepping out of my comfort zone has been kind of hard when it comes to meeting people and talking to people. So last week, I actually stepped out of my comfort zone and I went to a meeting called the Florida Women in Film meeting. And there was a woman there from LA who came to help us talk through how to brainstorm ideas for storytelling and how to be a better storyteller, whether you want to write a film script or a book or a novel. She kind of walked us through all these exercises and it was super cool. And again, of course, I made a bunch of excuses why I wasn't going to go because one, it started at 6:00 and it was just going to be hectic for me to get there by 6 through traffic and getting out of work and then having to go meet people that I didn't know. But anyways, I'm so glad I went because I met a couple people. I joined a writers group and I signed up for some workshops and it really just helped me come up with some ideas of what I could write about and what people would find interesting. And so I'm really glad that I stepped out of my comfort zone and joined that group. And then this past weekend, there was a mini fringe in Orlando. We have a big fringe that happens in May, but they brought together a winter fringe. And so over the weekend, I went and saw 4 shows. They were all very different. And I'd really hoped to have seen I really wanted to see a one-woman show, which I did, but it was not something that I would recreate because it was very sex focused, but not that it was bad, but it was just very intimate in terms of talking about sex. And then I saw what I thought was a one-man play, but it was actually 2 people doing a skit on Edgar Allan Poe. And then there was a one-man show who did Tall Tales, which I won't lie, I got super confused and lost because I guess my brain doesn't function on Tall Tales. I was just very like, what? And then I saw a two-man show, which was actually really cool. It was like a mock late night TV show, which I was like, wow, I could see myself doing that. Like that was something really cool and something up my alley. So it was really cool to go see the Fringe and see shows because, again, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, like I've always wanted to go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and I've been deciding like what could I go to do at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival if I don't go and do comedy. And so I've been trying to figure out other avenues. And so it was really cool to go see these plays. And I'm looking forward to May so I can go see more women shows because I really want to see like how does a woman kind of do a whole show by herself where she's acting out a whole scenario. So anyways, those were the things that I did to help me get closer to setting my goals for 2020. And I'd love to hear what you guys are doing to set your goals for 2020, or if you've already set them, what those goals are. But I really just wanted to share that with you because it's all about taking those baby steps. For me, these two steps were really hard to take because, again, the Fringe was on a Sunday, and I hate going out on Sundays and putting on pants and like putting on a bra and then having to go out there and talk to people and mingle and all that stuff. But I have been making such a conscious effort this year to really just go back out there and step out there and try new things. And so I encourage you guys all to do the same. And I'd love to hear about it. So join our Facebook community and let us know what you're up to. You can do that at funnybrown.com/Facebook. This week, we are on part 2 of a 2-part series with Jason Gregory. If you missed the first episode, I highly recommend you check it out. Jason Gregory had a childhood dream of working in film and TV. He went to college to pursue an undergraduate degree in film and media. Unfortunately, just like many of us, once he graduated from college, he needed money. So he went into advertising. He worked in advertising for years, selling ad spots, until one day he got laid off from his job. That's when he decided he wanted to set his own destiny. And so he started his own media shop, which was doing awesome. I mean, he had clients like the NBA and the Tom Joyner Morning Show. He was killing it. Until one day he woke up in his 40s and he decided, you know what? I still want to do film. I still want to be a writer. I still want to be a producer. I still want to direct. And so he decided to go get his MFA in film at the University of Central Florida. While he was there, he wrote Waking Up White, a TV pilot, which has circulated through film festivals internationally and domestically, and he's won multiple screenwriting competitions with his TV pilot. He's now living his dream. He's a screenwriting professor at the University of Central Florida, alongside producing more and more TV shows. So this week, we're going to continue our conversation with Jason Gregory, all about getting an MFA, how to put together a great screenplay, and much more. If you missed episode 1, a quick synopsis of episode 1, Jason drops much advice for those of us who are interested in pursuing an MFA, TV writing, or even just creatives in general. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. So if somebody's not in school or doesn't have their own business, where would you suggest they go look for a mentor?
Again, it depends on what they're looking to do. If they are serious about being a screenwriter, I would, they have access to Google. I didn't have Google when I was in undergrad. They can Google, writers, where they live, see if there are any writers groups that they can join up and see if there are any films, any short films that are being created here that they can jump on. There's an excellent organization here called the Orlando Independent Filmmakers, run by Lenny and Sylvia LaRusso. And if you're serious about trying to hone your craft, you can link up with them. And I think the organization is about 3,000 strong, and they always get together and make short films. Mm-hmm. And I've seen people come in who didn't know anything about the film industry, and they started working with them, and now they're directing their own films.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean,
you just have to know the hunger.
I mean, and no matter where you live across the world, like there's meetup.com, so you can check that out. You can go on LinkedIn. Facebook has a lot of groups too, so check that out as well. I'll try to come up with some resources and put it in the show notes for you guys. But so I want to go back to, so you wrote this screenplay and then you made it a TV pilot. And since then you've submitted it to a couple of festivals or competitions. What do you think is important when someone's writing to submit to competitions? Like what do you think has helped yours do so well?
Your pitch. You have to have a solid pitch, and you have to have a solid log line. I went to NATP back in 2018, January 2018.
And that's the National Association of Television Producers and Executives.
Look at you. Go on, Shireen.
I gotta know what you're talking about, so my listeners know what you're talking about.
You just rattled it right off. There you go.
This is all pre-planned, guys, to make me look smart.
So yeah, all of that. So I went there. I had finished writing the script. I wasn't going to go into production until June of 2018. This was January of 2018, and I went there with just a dream and started talking to folks. And I had a badge, and on my badge it said speaker, and at the bottom of it was purple. So all the speakers had purple badges, and the buyers, the media buyers, like your Hulus, your Amazons, Netflix, all those folks, they had blue badges. So I guess people had been hitting them up the entire time that they were there. So they decided to go ahead and cover up their badges and you can only see the blue. So I would literally stand at the bottom of the elevator and wait for someone to come around the corner. They had a blue badge, and I would make small talk with them, get them to lower their defenses, jump on the elevator with them, and pitch them. Mm-hmm. I literally did elevator pitches. I probably did 20 a day while I was at NAPI, and I was there for 3 days. And every time I pitched them, I would talk to them, and they say, "Hey, so what do you do?" And I say, "Well, I'm a writer. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a graduate student." And they say, "Oh, okay. What are you working on?" And a lot of times they would be on their phone just looking at, what's going on until they got to their floor. And I said, "Oh, I'm working on a television pilot called Waking Up White." And I would stop talking, and I would watch their habit, and they would put their phone away. And they say, "Really? Tell me about it." And I'd say, "Well, it's about a Black family that wakes up white one morning, and they have 30 days to decide if they want to go back to their cultural roots or stick with the skin that they're in." And every time I gave that pitch, they would say, "Where can I see it?" And I would tell them, "Unfortunately, we have not produced it yet. We won't. It goes into production in June." They would give me their business card and say, "Stay in touch." So you have to have a solid pitch and a solid log line. And the log line is just pretty much a quick synopsis of what your story is about. It could be one or two sentences, no more than that.
Right. Okay. Very cool. So when you pitched it to these like We Screenplay and Screencraft, did you have to submit the pilot as well, like the produced film, or just the script?
No, just the script. For those for those two screenplay competitions, it was just the script.
Mm-hmm. And that's really important to have a good log line and pitch as well.
Absolutely, because if your log line sucks, no one's gonna really care about the story, because they're trying to find the heart of the story in the log line.
Okay, cool. I'm asking some of these questions out of my own look at me forgetting my words today, like out of my own curiosity, because I don't script write, I don't TV write, but Issa Rae actually had a TV competition maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and I was like adamant, I love Issa Rae, and if you don't know who Issa Rae is, I'm not you, I'm talking to the listeners, I'm sure you know who Issa Rae is. Yeah. She writes and produces the show Insecure on HBO, and she's also got tons of other projects under her belt right now, where she actually had to take season 4 off, like she's not producing Insecure for season 4 because she's got too many other things going on.
Yeah.
And she started her career with a web series called Awkward Black Girl.
So smart.
And
so smart.
Yeah, super smart. Stanford grad, super smart girl. And I was obsessed with her. Not anymore, and I can tell you that later, but she had this TV writing competition, and I was like, "Oh, I want to meet Issa Rae. I'm going to write a TV script." And I actually made it to the semifinals.
What? Congratulations.
Thank you. And then she was like, "I'm going to send you feedback because I think it has potential." And then I never heard from her. And then of course I never worked on the script again because I was like, meh, I didn't get to meet her and she didn't send me feedback. So whatever.
But you actually heard from Issa Rae herself?
Well, so what had happened was I did not hear from her directly, but I met her because then I did a comedy thing, and HBO had me at an HBO party for a comedy competition, and she happened to be there. So of course I tried to talk to her, but she was drunk and was like, "I'm not going to talk to you." And then I talked to her manager, and her manager was like, "I'm going to get you some time with her." And then she was like, "I'm still drunk. What do you want?" And I told her what happened and how I really wanted feedback. And she was like, "Okay, I'm going to send you feedback. And here's my card." And I emailed her card like 10 times, like a stalker that I am, and never heard back from her.
Let me tell you, some of those same people that I was on the elevator with right then and there said that they were going to call me, or I followed up with them and never heard from them. And I can't be upset with them because they have so many people coming at them all the time.
Oh, I'm sure, but they should just be honest then. Be like, "I'm not really going to respond."
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But on the flip side, they probably don't want people saying that, hey, they didn't get back to them. So, they probably really just don't know what to say.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I just kind of was like, well, I'm over you now because I literally busted my ass to get into your competition and win. And then I almost did. And then you dismissed me. But whatever. I'll be at the top one day.
I went to an event this past weekend and was talking to some celebrity type folks, and they say, yeah, I'll be in touch. They're not going to be in touch. You can almost, tell, once you get to a certain point. And honestly, even in my position, and I feel bad about saying all this because I get so busy that sometimes I can't get back to people, and I'll just let them know, like, hey, it's just not the right time. We can't do this project right now. And they're so passionate about their project, but I'm kind of like, while you're focused on that one project, I've already got 2 or 3 other projects in the pipeline that I'm working on. So I can't stop my time to work on your project because it's going to slow my machine down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nope. I get you. And a lot of the creatives actually that I've interviewed have said the same thing, like that you have to realize how busy other people are when you're asking for help. So, I mean, it makes total sense. Total sense. I'm just one of those people who's like, do you not know who I am?
I'm Little Brown Girl.
Do you not know who I am? One day you're going to be like, I want her on my TV show. And I'm going to be like, no, Issa Rae, I'm sorry.
I can so see you on there.
I think Insecure needs a brown girl. I just think it needs a little bit, like she needs a brown friend to kind of just be like, introduce her to some new food and new cultures and stuff like that.
But it's the reverse Friends.
Yes.
Friends never had, they had one black friend on there, and that was Aisha Taylor,
yeah,
and that
Ross's
was like
girlfriend.
Years later. Was it Aisha Taylor or was it it was Gabrielle Union, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Gabrielle Union.
I can't remember. I just know it was Ross's girlfriend, and she was way too pretty to be Ross's girlfriend.
Right, exactly. And then you never saw her again, So yeah, Insecure is like the reverse Friends.
So I will be on there. So now, okay, what do you like doing better? Do you like writing or do you like producing, like filming?
It's a constant battle between producing and writing. I like directing. Directing is cool, but it's one of those things where I could do it, I could not do it, but I can't live without writing and producing. The two of those go hand in hand because I love the business of show, which is the producing side, and I love the show business, which is the writing side. I just love both of them. So
was it hard to take your TV pilot and actually film it then?
No, because I knew it better than anybody else. Now, if I wanted to, be a writer where I just wrote and just say, here, you got it, I wouldn't care less. I'd just be a hired, pen. Okay, I wrote something, now it's yours, I'm done with it. But because I was so close to that, because, this was actually an idea that I had before I had even started grad school. Like I had come up with this idea probably early 2016, late 2015, but I had no idea what I was going to do with it. And my wife and I we shot a short film version of this that no one will ever see, will never see the light of day because it was just that bad. And I submitted that to get into film school because I had to show them what my idea was all about because they couldn't understand it because they kept thinking, okay, well, this black family is going to wake up in whiteface. I was like, nope, that's not going to happen. Brand new characters, brand new actors. So to answer your question, yeah, I love writing and producing more than I do directing.
Yeah. I think I use the words, I hate producing because that's finding money, right?
Oh, I love asking people for
really?
money. Again, I come from a radio background. I come from a sales background, so I have no problem asking people for money.
I need you on my team. That is like the worst thing. Right. I'm so bad at it. I'm like, oh, so you want me to perform? Okay. And then I have and I shouldn't say this on my podcast, but I have an email address from my boyfriend that I then use to negotiate the contracts because I don't want to be the one who has to talk about money. So I pretend I'm him and have him ask for the money.
You have to. When I first started with my business, I always had a vice president of finance that would always follow up with people and just say, your invoice is outstanding by 30 days. When can we expect payment? Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, but I'm just bad at it. Plus, I also find that if a man asks for money, they pay higher rate and faster. So that's why I sign my emails as Matt and not myself.
There you go. That's smart. That's very smart. And it's sad that you have to do that, but it's smart. You understand the game. Yeah.
So would you say that if you wanted to be a TV writer or a screenwriter, do you suggest that someone also knows how to direct films and TV shows as well?
I think it's an added benefit. I think
Mm-hmm.
that, you can come in with an extra skill set because a lot of TV writers don't worry about that. They're like, I don't want to direct. I just want to run the show. I just want to write. I want to, flush out these characters and stuff like that. And then you have people who just want to do nothing but direct. Um, and that's okay. But again, if your first passion is writing and then you're someone who can also direct, I think it's an added bonus.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So now you're a faculty member. What
Yes.
are some of the fears, like common fears you see your students grappling with?
Getting into, I guess, getting into Act Two, like trying to figure out exactly what that inciting incident is. What's that big incident that can happen that catapults us into Act Two, so that you can start all the mess in Act Two. Because in Act Two, that's where you have all the complications, the conflict, all of that stuff. And then, as you get to the end of Act Two, you start to have the resolution and come out. And then in Act Three, you kind of have the core resolution and the conclusion. So in order to get all of that, you have to understand what your motivation is in Act One and talk about, show what's going to happen to them in Act Two. So yeah, that's mostly it. Yeah. But I think that's a common struggle for a lot of people. Like they have
Mm-hmm.
a great idea and people will always come up to me, oh my God, my life can be a film. My life can be a TV show. And it's like, how? Tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this happened today. I went to go get coffee and, somebody almost ran into me. Okay. And what was the conflict? Okay. Tell me what else happened? Did you guys, cuss each other out? Like what happened? Like, give me more. I need more meat. So yeah, that's it.
Cool. Well, so wrapping up, what advice do you have for creatives trying to make it either just in the entertainment business as a creative or in screenwriting? You can answer whichever one.
Or hopefully this one answer will sum up both of them. Find a crew that you can work with. If you're a writer, find someone who wants to direct. If you have someone who wants to direct, find someone who wants to produce. If you have some actors, uh, find your crew where you can put something together yourself and go out and try and sell it instead of just saying, hey, I'm a writer. Write it. So, and then have other people film it and act it out so that the person that you're trying to, get their attention, they can see exactly what your vision is. Because sometimes people don't have time to read scripts anymore. So if you can give them, something visual that they can, and they can get an idea of what your story is about, that's even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's actually interesting you said that. And I can't remember what episode of this podcast I interviewed Abhi Varghese, and he actually filmed his entire series. He created a TV show called Brown Nation, and he filmed all the episodes, and then he went and pitched it to Netflix. And he said, "You can buy. I think it was 10 or 12 episodes. I'm selling you these, or pitching you these 10 or 12 episodes already filmed. Like you don't have to spend a dime doing it."
That's awesome. That is so
So that,
smart. And how did he get to Netflix?
that was interesting. This sounds so bad. I can't remember. You're going to have to go and listen to the episode.
Yep, I will do that.
That's a teaser. I actually
Yeah.
remember, but you should still go listen. But even Stefan, who I interviewed a couple weeks ago, See You Yesterday, he had already filmed it.
I love that film.
I think
I love that film.
he'd only filmed the short. I think he took the short with him when he pitched to Netflix.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah,
but yeah,
that's
and
a
then
great film.
Yvonne Orji actually did that. So Yvonne Orji is a woman on Insecure. She actually filmed a trailer for her pilot to pitch to HBO.
Okay, good. And see again, yeah, they got an idea of what she was talking about.
Exactly. And it was funny because from what I remember hearing about it, like nobody was interested in it, but then it went viral and then HBO was like, let me see it.
Wow, that's good.
So,
That's good.
yeah. So that is good advice. Like it definitely worth putting in the time and effort to make it into a film or a teaser. Would you say going all the way back now, would you say if you wanted to be a screenwriter or a director, do you think an MFA is useful?
Not if you, well, yes and no. Not if you want to direct, but if you want to write, yes, I would say, because you need to make sure that you understand story structure. And there are a lot of programs that you can sign up for online that will teach you about story structure, and you have one-on-one communication with your professor, through, I guess through whatever channel that is. But directing, I kind of think that, if you look at enough YouTube videos, or you take a, you kind of get an idea of what you want to do. Now, if you're talking about cinematography, you really do need to take a lot of classes for that, because you have to make sure you know the right aperture and everything, lighting, all of that stuff. But directing, sometimes I think it's just like really ingrained in you. Maybe you shadow someone, find someone who's already directing that can mentor you, something like that. But that writing, nothing happens without that script, without that idea. That script is the blueprint for whatever the director is going to put on that film.
Hey, it's me, Shireen. Sorry to interrupt. Creative Breakthrough listeners, are you enjoying this episode? If so, I have a quick favor. Could you leave us a review, whether on Apple, SoundCloud, or whatever platform you're listening from? It's a great way to pay it forward and let other creatives know about the show. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, I'll get back to the original interview now. Thanks. Bye. Interesting.
Now my director friends are gonna be pissed with me, but
that's okay. We're just gonna watch YouTube videos.
Yeah. There you go.
Is there anything that we did not touch upon? Anything that you want to share with our listeners? Any advice? Last minute thoughts?
Last minute thoughts. Just fail your way to success. I started grad school late in life, and I think it's the best thing that could have happened to me. The experiences that I go through right now, wouldn't have had those experiences had I gone to grad school, or had I, completed grad school, earlier. Again, fail your way to success. Don't be afraid of taking those calculated risks. Now, if you got a mortgage and, responsibilities and all that stuff, again, your calculated risks, you have to really, weigh that option a lot more than someone who's in their early 20s. But, don't be afraid. And I hate using this cliche, but it is what it is. You're never too old. If you can't afford to go back to school, check out some of those YouTube videos, check out, go to screencraft.com, go to screenwritingonline.com, take some of those classes and get a better idea of the type of writer or even director that you want to be.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that you're never too old. I think sometimes a lot of us creatives feel like we've passed that moment in our life. And now it's like, we'd be silly to go and pursue this creative passion that we had. And so you're a living legend in terms of, like, not only did you go back to school, like you have been so successful and you found a new career path from it.
Thank you. Yeah, I was the old man in the class. The younger folks, I would call them my short-term memory. What did they say? All right, hold on. Tell me that again. Break it down. But again, people who are in their early 20s and, even in their 40s and 50s, we now have access to this thing called the internet, YouTube, Google, all of that stuff. Research what you want to do. Unfortunately, when I was younger, we didn't have all of that, but now you have access to it. So now there's no excuse.
No, there definitely isn't. That's actually how I learned how to write a screenplay. When I wanted to enter this competition, I only had 2 months. So I signed up for an 8-week course. It was free. It was on Coursera.org.
Yeah. Yep.
And literally every week they gave me homework to do and I would do it. And ta-da, wrote a screenplay. Like, you can learn anything on the internet these days.
You can. That's awesome. Even how to make bombs, but we won't do that.
Hey, listen, that's racist to say that to me.
No, oh my God, no, I didn't even think about that. No, I don't want to be racist. No.
I'm just playing.
No.
You could have used any other example.
No.
Okay,
one chance.
Let's switch gears and go into the lightning round. The lightning round, I am going to ask you 5 questions, rapid fire, and you just tell me the first thing that you think of.
Okay.
1, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Best piece of advice. Just keep at it. Don't stop.
What's your definition of success?
Being happy with what you made and being satisfied with your project.
Who inspires you and why?
A lot of people. Of course, Tyler Perry right now for opening up his compound, his 12 soundstage studio. Spike Lee, because as a child, I always, instead of being like Mike, I always said I wanted to be like Spike. And, down to, people like, my wife, and she inspires me. She's, held it down for so long. And, and now that has, provided me the opportunities that I have.
That's awesome. What's a habit that's helped you on your journey?
A habit that has helped me on my journey, just consistently writing, consistently talking to characters or my characters talking to me.
So do you have conversations in your head?
All the time. You have to, once your characters start talking back to you, then you know that you're onto something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you want your legacy to be?
That not only did he try to better himself, but he tried to better others. I pride myself on always saying that I promote people and projects, and I like promoting people more because I really want to see them get to the next level and then hire me.
Yes, I love that. I love it when creatives are not afraid of other creatives being successful, because there's just room for all of us to play in the space. Like, we're all so different with different stories that we can all learn from each other. So I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're doing that with your podcast right now. I mean, this is an amazing platform where you get to bring on other creatives to help, promote themselves. And by doing this, you promote yourself.
Exactly.
And it's great.
We're helping people because we know that if we help each other, that's the only way we're going to get it to the top. It's what's the phrase? Oh my God, I should not do interviews this late at night, but it's like you're climbing each other's back to get to the top, and that's the only way we're going to get there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I forgot what the phrase is. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Jason, if our listeners wanted to find you online, where could they do that?
If they want to check out my project, they can go to wakingupwhite.com or at least check out the trailer. The project is making its rounds on the film festival circuit right now, so we can't put it out there. But you can connect with me on Facebook at Waking Up White also, or Instagram at JAY, D like David, Greg, GREG.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Shireen. It's been a great time. I really love this. I hope to come back on one day, hopefully when I get a deal.
Yes, no, I love doing those little updates with people. So yes, we're going to keep you in our thoughts and prayers that you make it big and that you don't forget about me so that you do come back. Never that. You're always going to be with me. Yeah, right. You're going to be like, I'll call you back. And then it's going to be the same conversation where I never hear from you.
Be like, girl, we got to talk in 3 years. I got other projects right now.
Well, this has been so much fun, Jason. I'm glad we finally connected.
All right. Thanks, Shireen.
Everything about this interview. I love that Jason went after his dreams. I love that he didn't let his age stop him. And I love that he was able to shift his career path. I love how he went from working at a media house to being a screenwriting professor. I mean, he came full circle from his childhood dreams. Even in college, he had these dreams and he had to put them on hold for years, but he still came back to them. And it just goes to show you life is what you want to make of it. You can pivot anytime you want and you can go after your dreams. So, key takeaways from Jason Gregory. 1, you're never too old to pursue your dreams. 2, the older you are, the more life experience you will have to draw from. And I think this is in any creative field, not just film writing or script writing. It's also in comedy. It's also in writing books. And everything you do, the more experiences you have, the more you have to draw on. And it's the same thing when I went to business school. A lot of people go to business school or grad school right after they graduate undergrad. And people say, no, get work experience, get life experience, because then you can actually draw on those in your exercises, in your class, and in your projects. 3, There are many free options to learn and study on the internet. So even if you don't have the funds to go back to grad school or get an MFA, go on the internet and look for these free classes. And I've also put some free resources in the show notes, which you can get to at creativebreakthroughpodcast.com. 4, keep at it. Don't stop. 5, take calculated risks. And 6, be consistent. Thank you guys all so much for listening. We will be back in 2 weeks. Again, feel free to join our Facebook group. Send me any questions, email, slide into my DM. You can find me anywhere at funnybrown.com. Take care and be safe. Now go flex your creative muscle and keep winning. Thanks for listening. Stay connected about upcoming resources, including opportunities, festivals, competitions, and grants to help you grow your creative passion by subscribing to my bi-monthly newsletter by visiting funnybrowngirl.com/subscribe. Don't miss out on a life-changing opportunity and subscribe today at funnybrowngirl.com/subscribe. And hey, if you decide to go on Instagram today, follow me. I'm Funny Brown Girl. I'm Shireen Kassam, and you've been listening to Creative Breakthrough. Now, go flex your creative muscle and keep winning.